listening to the Otakuology Podcast with Otaku Mike and Jin Graves.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jin back with another episode of the Otakuology Podcast, one of the best podcasts in the world, I'd say. And as always, my good buddy, Otaku Mike.
That seems like a personal opinion that you think it's the best podcast in the world.
Is it a personal opinion?
It's kind of like Tenacious D. Are we the Tenacious D of podcasting?
No.
Why not?
We're the Tenacious D of the world.
But Tenacious D is the Tenacious D of the world.
No.
So
because it's Jack Black.
We are the Tenacious D of podcasting. I would say that.
Whenever you start going, New Age tried to destroy the metal. If you can do that whole part, I'll let you win this conversation. But until then, stay tuned next time, guys. That's when you'll know about this.
All right, I got this.
You're going to do it right now?
But the metal was just too strong. Punk rock tried to destroy the metal.
Keep going.
Was it techno tried to defile the metal, but the metal was just too strong.
Oh my god. I love it.
All right, let's get into this podcast.
Okay, I'll let you win that that argument, though. Oh, that was great. I'm tearing up so bad right now. I think I dry laughed there for a second, and I was like, oh, no sound.
Oh man, I hope that doesn't sound horrible and ear grating on my microphone.
That's fine. I'm sure everybody will be like, what? Why is this not on iTunes? Can I get it? Can I listen to it on Spotify?
It's funny because I was listening to that song on the drive home the other day.
That's funny.
Yeah,
it's one of those songs I have on my phone. I love it. You know the sad thing, and we have a friend that I know would probably do this.
What? But
would sit there and probably record a memo and get it and then make it into a ringtone. And I feel like Heartless Weeb is just he's dick enough to do that to you and turn it into a ringtone and put it out for everybody to use.
You know what? I would be okay with that if that happened.
And you know the sad thing? I feel like Papa Weeb would be on it too, and Papa Weeb would have it on his phone. Yeah, when people call me, Minnow was proven wrong. Be like, who's that? That's one of the best singers in the world. Otaku Mike.
All right. So, what are we talking about today, other than my beautiful singing voice?
the third member of Tenacious D. You are lost. So we are talking about Belle, which is a new movie that came out
like a year ago or early
was
this year. I think
it
it was this. It was last year. It came out in 2021,
but it just came out for us to be able to watch Freebie.
It was on HBO Max. It's on.
Yeah. Because it just popped up for me, too. I just added it on a week ago, and then you asked me, hey, let's cover it. And I was like... And it's just funny, because I'm like, right after I add it, then you bring it up, and you go, hey, let's watch this. I'm like...
Well, it popped up for me, too, so I was like... I've kind of been wanting to watch this movie. I'm a fan of Mamoru Hosoda.
Do we share a HBO account? I didn't know this.
No. No, we don't share an HBO account. But I mean,
I randomly tell HBO to send me hey, pop this up on his list because he'll add it because you guys told him. If I told him, he wouldn't do it.
No, I mean, if you suggest me something, usually I don't watch it.
You bitch. Well, so The plot I kind of feel is all based online, kind of like their other movie Summer Wars, if anybody's ever seen that.
I
But
have. I own it.
I've seen
I,
it.
I
Kind of.
have. I have watched Summer
I
Wars
don't,
multiple times.
I don't own it though.
I would say this is Summer Wars crossed with Beauty and the Beast. To be honest.
That's true.
To be
That's
honest.
true. So this is something that I wanted to bring up, which I kind of told you about it,
Uh
but
huh.
then I said I wasn't going to tell you till we were in the show.
Uh huh.
Was the whole Beauty of the Beast aspect?
Yeah.
Why is everybody is doing different ones now that are anime, like, or played on anime renditions of old Disney stuff? Because we covered Bubble, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, this is like the Little Mermaid in the sky," and I was
I
like, "I
I
hate
would
that."
I would say one, Bubble doesn't have much to do with the Little Mermaid other than that they do reference it and she does turn into foam at the end of it. That's about it. But I feel like this does pull heavily from the Disney movie. Like Belle does pull heavily from it. At certain points of this movie, it does. I just think he was influenced by it, and that's what it was. I think he probably really loves the story of Beauty and the Beast, and he wanted to create his own adaptation of it. That's what I come to think about.
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, there's nothing wrong with taking that because I mean, yet when we think of Beauty and the Beast, everybody automatically goes to the Disney movie, but I mean the Beauty and the Beast story has been around long before that.
that's true.
So like it's not technically like a sole Disney property. Although
Right.
there are points in this movie where I'm like, he fucking flat out like ganked that or got that, from certain parts of the movie.
That's true.
It's kind of like the whole like Winnie the Pooh thing. Like if you have Winnie the Pooh, it's like Winnie the Pooh is like public domain, but you slap that red shirt on him, it's now part of Disney type of thing.
Yeah.
Like Disney owns like the red shirt Winnie the Pooh type of thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Anyways, you wanna get on with this? Get on with this
Yeah.
and start talking about the movie.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I thought the art was really good. I
Uh
liked
huh.
the premise behind part of it,
Uh huh.
and whatnot. But as far as it goes, we have our main character.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was losing my voice there for a second.
Suzu.
Suzu, and
Yeah.
she had something happen to her when she was younger, with her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom got, which I guess it was more like a landslide that started and like made the river get real bad.
Yeah, it was like a landslide, almost flood. It seemed like.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so it did that, and her mom wanted to be the hero, go out and save this little girl and everything. And the little girl made it back, but her
Mm-hmm.
mom, I guess, got washed down river. We're never told if they find the body or anything.
She gave up her life jacket to the child.
Yeah, to get
That
them
yeah,
safely back.
yeah, and Suzu witnessed all of this. So Suzu basically uh reverts or retreats into herself and becomes like the biggest wallflower you can think of.
Right.
She originally had like a real huge passion for music because her parents liked music and I believe her mom was really big into music as well. And her dad tried to keep up the music going when her mom passed, I believe, right? Or am I mixing things up?
No, that was her mom.
Oh, that was her mom. Okay, I mixed it up then.
Yeah.
Her mom was the big musical influence, and once her mom passed away, like she
She
became
kind
really
of she kind of lost all of that.
she lost all of that. She became really depressed. Very much like in her own little world, and having to live and deal with the grief of losing her mother.
Yes.
And then
Which
one day,
which and then we have the system that's in here, which I'm
uh
gonna shoot myself in the foot for saying this. The closest thing I can compare the online system to would be the one in Sword Art Online. And you don't have the
okay,
whole visor or whatever, but
yeah,
it syncs with you like neurally
yeah,
and throws you onto like a social media platform as an
yeah,
avatar based off of your personality and everything else. And that
it,
thus
yeah.
Belle is created
hmm
and
Well,
Suzu.
Belle is created because she scans in a picture of herself at one point, and it's a group picture where she didn't want to be in the picture, but a very popular girl. What was her name? Like Ruka was her name. I can't remember what her name was
Yeah.
off the top of my head. And she's like very popular, and yeah, it's Ruka. She's very popular, and she's like, "Oh, come on, Suzu, get in this picture with all of us." And Suzu's not really all for that, and it takes
Like,
Suzu's face and her face and like merges it together to make Belle.
well, I think it took all the faces.
I thought it was just their faces, but
I
I
don't
mean,
know because you know it kind of had that little like picture face thing where your camera recognizes faces,
yeah.
and it did it on like everybody's.
But mostly people said it looked like Ruka, like they had like a very strong resemblance.
I
They
have
said
no
it
idea.
like a couple times in the movie.
I
Even
have no
she
idea.
says, even Suzu says, "Hey,
Yeah.
I look like Ruka and stuff
I don't remember.
in that
I don't
aspect."
remember that. I know that when it first popped up, she goes, "Did this use hers instead of mine?" You know.
But I mean, it put on the freckles and stuff, and and she goes into this world, and it's a very immersive, like online world. Where they, I guess, you could do anything in there.
Yeah.
Very much, very
You know what this really reminded me of with just the world itself, kind of.
Summer Wars,
No, it reminded me of Ready Player One.
I guess.
Whatever, forget you.
I would say it's like Summer Wars, the other Mamoru Hosoda movie.
That's okay. It's a Mamoru soda. It's not a good comparison.
Except it doesn't fully affect the world like Summer Wars did. Like it wasn't fully connected into the world, like or it was like working with the traffic lights and stuff and all
Oh, like the Digimon movie.
Yeah, like the Digimon movie.
Yeah,
Summer Wars,
fuck you.
like Summer Wars 1.0.
Oh my god, not Summer Wars one. But when she gets into the server or whatever this
uh,
thing is, you know, she ends up finding her voice, which is the weirdest. Would you say this is probably one of the weirdest things that happened? Because I don't think anybody just automatically like pops into a world and then automatically goes sing,
um
because she
so
just automatically started singing and I was like, well, this is a little awkward.
so I did find it awkward, but for her to just start singing and projecting her voice in the middle of like this whatever they were in the server or whatever, and even people in the U world, the online world, are like, what is she doing? Why is she trying to be a show off? Nobody likes a show off. And then like people started to come around and watch her, and then she gets her like first follower, which is like this little angel creature thing. And she's like, "Oh, I love you. I loved your voice, this and that." And she starts to basically go viral
Yeah,
in this aspect, and some time has kind of passed. It seems like a little bit ish, and she tells her friend, Haru, I think her name is, or Hiro Haru, or whatever her name is, her nerdy friend who basically designs all her outfits and helps with the programming, I guess, for like these visual concerts.
yeah.
and she like makes all this money and she gives it all to charity, but she wants to stay a secret. Basically, she doesn't want anybody to know who she is. And I'm curious about how much time she actually spends in the virtual world, or she just goes there for concerts, because she becomes very, very popular and very famous, like overnight, it seems like. Because it seems like we only get her in this world for the concerts itself. So I wonder if like if she's not spending much time in the world, you know? I
Yeah.
don't know if you felt like that or not, you know.
Um, yeah. I mean, the other thing is it felt like everything happened like over a week period, even though
It
like months passed.
Yeah, it seemed like happened over like, months, whatever. She becomes popular, and we get to see more of her backstory about how exactly the death affected her. Like, she like you said, she didn't want to sing and stuff, and she was a part of like a choir that her mother was a part of, and her mother had friends, and she kind of was a part of that. And there was a whole scene which I thought was pretty powerful, was when she's invited to um karaoke with these other girls from school, and like her anxiety takes over, and she
Yeah.
basically has a full on like panic attack, and she's like throwing up in the street. And it shows like how much one thing can affect a person, which
Yeah.
which I felt, which was very, very powerful and very moving, in that aspect. uh and then we go to, after that, some time has passed a little bit, and you see like her dad, and her dad's trying to talk to her and stuff, and they don't really seem to have much of a relationship anymore. It's kind of like they just live together almost.
Yeah. Very true.
um and you always ask her, hey, do you want to talk, do you what do you want for dinner? And she's like, oh, I don't care, she very much shut herself off. she's
Yes.
very she's very much become like this very timid, meek, mousy person. But in this world she's in now, she's like
She can do
up
what she wants to do, which
she's
is
a yeah,
basically
big
just
deal.
sing.
Yeah,
Which is
and
basically just sing.
everybody wants to know what exactly or who Belle is. And I like the aspect in this to where we see like the little social media posts,
Yeah.
in the where like is like, I felt like that was like what actually like social media is like, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like how people can just fucking turn on a dime, and or like, oh, we hate her, oh, we love her over here, but she's a piece of trash, and all this shit.
Yeah.
I thought that was really a really well depicted aspect of the movie. But we move on, and Belle ends up having her Suzu has another concert, and she's going to have this big concert, and it's ruined, or uh, basically uh, her concert stops because somebody gets in, and they're called like the dragon of, is it just the dragon or something else?
Just the dragon.
The dragon or the beast comes
Yeah.
in, and it's ruined by him and what I like to refer to as the the furry Justice Power Rangers, the furry squad, basically.
But their captain's a big white guy.
Yes, but the rest of them are a bunch of furries.
Kinda.
They're all like
I just So the worst thing with that is every time I was watching it, I kept telling myself, "I was like, oh great, the Ginyu Force is back." Because I mean, they come off as especially the main guy comes off as an asshole
his name is
all the damn
his
time.
name is Justin. I looked up his name, and his name is Justin.
Oh my god, we know
Well,
Justin.
we do know a Justin, but so these people show up, and they're fighting the beast. And there was a thing that I had a kind of a question about, but I was a little confused. They mentioned like these bruises on the beast,
Yeah,
like these bruises are on him, on his back, and I was like, Where are these bruises? I don't see these bruises. I just see all this color on his back.
Yeah. So
I was like, wait, are those supposed to be bruises like in his code? You know?
so the best thing I can say for that is they kept calling them bruises, but they looked more like burn marks.
Kind of, yeah, but I thought that was just part of his outfit, to be honest.
And the other thing, and this is one of the complaints I have about this, and whether it was just the English communication drop or
Hmm.
what, it looked like he had a cape on, right? A big cloak kind
Yeah,
of
it was like
thing.
a cloak or like a cape or something.
And it looked like the cape was burnt. So whenever people kept saying, "Oh, he's got these bruises," I'm like, "How do you know he has these bruises? Like, you can you see it through there?" Well,
Yeah.
you know, and then this cape had like these holes in it and stuff from like look
Hmm.
like burns, you know.
Hmm.
And that's the closest thing that I could figure out, you know. But then he had this big, like, kind of sort of awesome tattoo.
Well, I it seemed like to me, like once I put two and two together, like it's almost like his digital code was bruised in a way.
Yeah,
So therefore, like that's what they were talking about, were like the bruises on his back and his arm and stuff. Which it took me. I was like, wait, what? What are they talking about? Like I thought there was maybe like a mistranslation or something
right,
in that part. But I mean, they brought it up several times.
right. Which I felt like we were kind of led on because I kept thinking one of the guys that Suzu knew was going to be the Beast or
Well, that's
whatever.
also what I thought as well. I thought the boy who wanted to protect her, which I think his
Um,
name was what was his name? Like Shiro was his name?
Shiro, I think, was the boy that wanted to protect her, or the standoffish one, or the other one.
It was Shinjiro, I believe his name was.
Shinjiro was the one that was in the kayaking club.
Oh, so his name was Shin. Is it Shinobu?
Yeah, Shinobu was the standoff-ish one.
Okay, yeah, Shinobu, and then we have which they're
Which
not in the movie that much.
let me point this out. For Shinjiro so much to be her friend, the only thing we really have is that he's got a nickname.
Yeah,
And I hated that because like we start getting to the end of the movie and I'm like, oh, okay, so he's got a crush on her. Well, no, it's a friend that she's had. He may have that crush on her. I don't know.
yeah.
But we really didn't get to see very much of their interaction besides them walking by and
No,
talking. So
their inter
I never got a feeling of them being more than classmates.
yeah their interaction was they had the one interaction at school, and you would see like flashbacks after her mom passed away.
Yes.
He was like, "I'll protect you," and then like they have like an interaction, maybe like one or two more times towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Other than that, they don't, because she thinks that Ruka and him like could be a couple, or she could
And
he
yeah,
could
because Ruka, the popular girl, ends up saying, basically that she has a crush on him.
no, she has a crush on the kayak guy.
Yeah, Shinjiro.
Yeah, she likes Shinjiro, and but Shinobu is the one who is the protector guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Honestly,
I saw it both ways. I was like, oh, well, Shinobu, the dragon, is kind of standoffish like him.
well,
It would
I
make
thought
sense.
he was kind of an uh really much a red herring almost,
Yeah.
because he kept saying he wanted to talk to her and he wanted to, tell her something, uh but she would like run away and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we are led to believe that he might be the
Yeah.
beast itself.
See, and I'll agree with you on part of that. I do feel like he was the red herring because you're like, oh, most certainly how they act. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
But then a little farther through the movie, I was like, wait, Suzu and Belle are like almost complete opposites.
Yeah.
Suzu is really closed or whatever. And I said, how weird would it be for Shinjiro, the friend, the kayak friend, to be the person that on the outside is this really happy-go-lucky, excited individual, and then online to be like this dark, depressive person.
Well, we don't see much of Shinjiro other than like maybe 2 or 3 scenes.
Right. Well, and see, that's why I was thinking that it could possibly be Shinjiro, because we didn't get enough. We never saw a lot. I was like, maybe later on we'll see something like that. We never did. You know.
Yeah, no. But there's
Uh,
one scene that I actually do like of his, one we'll get to later, and
yeah.
kind of talk about. But we get after the big concert. They start to. I don't want to say like people start to like kind of turn on Belle, but they're upset that Belle didn't get to do her concert,
Yeah.
and this and that.
They're mad at the dragon.
Yeah, they're mad at the dragon, and so Suzu makes it a point to try to find the dragon because she feels like there's like a connection or something, or maybe she can help them because the dragon's very much like uh, a mystery in this case. Is a
Yes.
mystery that nobody knows anything about the dragon. Why is the dragon so angry? Why is the justice force people after the dragon? Because all they know is like he's like this really good online fighter, basically. And
Right.
I do like the aspect to where they go and try to narrow down what like how they track him down, basically.
Based off of who beat him and all that
Yeah,
other stuff. When he left, when he had to do all this other stuff. Yeah.
which I thought was really cool. I like the aspect to where they start talking to this one lady, and they like basically like talk to her and they're like nice to her and like saying they want to interview her for like a magazine or whatever. And it turns out her entire profile is fucking fake.
Yes.
Like, and I'm like,
Well,
that would happen in real life,
and here's the funny thing. I went back and I watched the first song that's in the movie,
Uh-huh.
and she's actually in that part.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just we don't notice her because we haven't seen what her avatar looks like yet.
Oh.
And I was sitting there like, no way.
Yeah, like I thought it was cool. Like they're like, oh yeah, all these are stock photos. She doesn't know what she's talking about, and there's a
Well,
red herring that she might be the beast.
right. And I like that where, and then when all those people come out, like you have the artist guy that
Mhm.
they investigated him. Oh,
Because he has like the same tattoos on him in the
right.
real world that look like bruises, and he's like, oh, I got these bruises because of my dead girlfriend. And it turns out his girlfriend is not dead, and he's just like a counterfeit like liar, basically. Like he's he lied.
Yeah. And then
He's a
he's arguing all his stuff is real and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Then
And then
we have like the weird subplot of like the professional baseball player
yeah.
who is never takes off his shirt and stuff, and we get this part where like he's like, some of you might think I am the beast,
And he
but I
confesses, yeah.
I am not the beast. I just had a bunch of surgeries when I was a child. And I'm
I
like,
want to use this opportunity to let you guys know that even though you might not know that you have the strength in you, but you can actually go in and be just as good as me. Look what I've overcome.
because I have this big 6-pack with the scars and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, interesting. But I like that how like they were being affected. Like I like that little subplot of like who is the beast. I thought it was
Yeah.
funny like how things were starting to come out about these people. Like it wasn't like a full on like focus on the movie, but like it mentioned it that like, oh, like because they did look at those people as
Well, and
potential
I
subjects.
also didn't even notice. I didn't know that the beast and the little white, or I guess the dragon. I didn't know the dragon and the little white ghost.
We can call him the beast because that's what he is. He's the beast.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
beast, I don't know what to call the other thing. The baby
They
dragon.
called it an angel.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So the angel, was like the other side, and it
Mhm.
was. it was weird because like you didn't really have like a full connection between them until
Yeah.
we make it to the castle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and so they do make it to the castle. And I like this her going to the castle because I like the visual effects of it, like how the visuals change in the backgrounds.
yeah,
And it changed, like I thought that was really, really well done. Very much of like psychedelic, almost like Van Gogh-esque
yeah,
like backgrounds, and we see these little creatures, which I'm guessing those are supposed to be like either people he who work for the beast or something. I wasn't for sure. Almost like a Lumiere, Cogsworth type of thing,
yeah. Well, and the
And
only
they,
thing I could draw off of that, because when we hear like two of them speak at one point or
yeah,
whatever, is that they were because the angel and the dragon or the beast are together. They're in conjunction together. We
yeah,
find that out later on, and I think it was the angels maybe like friends from school or wherever.
yeah, possibly, yeah, yeah,
But
and
again, that's nothing we're really given. You kind of
yeah,
gotta.
no, you're right about that. And so Belle ends up going to the castle and confronting the beast. And was this where we get the whole dance scene, or was that after? Was that later that we get that part?
Later, she leaves. We have a scene outside of the stuff.
It was very much reminiscent of the actual Beauty and the Beast movie, where he's like, "Get out, get
Right.
out."
And then she ends up coming back and automatically, because she knows where the castle is, pops back into the castle
Yeah.
to um, to talk to him. And then we have basically straight out of the Beauty and the Beast movies.
Yeah.
They do this whole dance thing, and then all the wounds are healed on this
In a
guy.
very similar room too.
Right.
Yeah.
All the room is like destroyed, and then it turns into this luxurious thing, and
And you see him start to kind of morph a little bit and change almost.
yeah,
Like for a moment there I thought like, is he gonna turn into a human?
right. I was like, how is this going to happen? Or is he going to? It's like all the dark coloring on him going to come off. He's going to turn into a white dragon.
White dragon, which he doesn't even look like a dragon to me. Like,
Uh, I don't know. I feel like I think why they call him a dragon is because in Japanese culture, dragons can basically be anything. I mean, I
yeah,
know we have the game called Monster Hunter, but it should technically have been called Dragon Hunter because everything is like a dragon.
yeah,
I mean, but that's what their culture kind of has
hmm,
dragons as. They're different creatures that
yeah,
it could be something that doesn't look like one, but they use that loose term. Like if we were to say fairies,
hmm,
what fits under fairies? Pixies and
yeah,
all this other stuff. So I don't know. I felt
hmm,
like somebody tried to use like maybe a dragon, a Kirin, and um, maybe like things of like a gorilla or something like that. I mean, it
hmm,
was kind of a big like thing of different
yeah.
animals.
And is this where afterwards the Justice Force people go and basically storm the castle after this part?
No, after this is where Belle leaves, and they
Okay,
find her in the bad section or the bad
okay.
sector. And they go,
Oh
"Why are
yes, and
you
then
up this far?"
they capture her, right?
Yes,
They
and then
capture her
the
because
then the beast has to come save her.
yeah, and then after this is where they try to storm the castle, right? After
Yeah,
that,
then we get a scene where we're back to normal. We're back to regular Zuzu and how
mhm.
everything's going and their search and everything else. And then when she comes back is when they storm the castle.
Yeah, and that's basically out of the very ending where they storm the castle and Beauty and the Beast, basically as well.
Yeah. So they
Which
destroy the
I
castle.
kind of wanted them to break out into song and be like, "We gotta kill the beast,"
Oh my god.
like in the movie. Like I kind
Yeah.
of wanted that or something like that because it was very like almost sort of shot for shot at some points
That's true.
in
Yes.
that part, and then we find out that Hey everyone, Jin here, and I wanted to take a quick second from the podcast to tell you about Anchor by Spotify. It's one of the easiest ways now that you can actually record a podcast all in one simple place. You can record it from your phone or your computer, post it to any platform, including Spotify, and also have cool things like this ad or other things, podcast subscriptions happen to you. And it's all entirely free. So go out and download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started today. They couldn't get the beast and they want to lure the beast out. And Belle is basically, or Suzu is like, I can make him come out, and bring him out. And the Justice Force really want to get to him for reasons, which I don't even know if they worked for the online world or they were just like volunteers, but
No, because the online world. That's why I say, and it also made it seem like um, Ready Player One is because there was nobody to really orient anything over the world. There
yeah.
wasn't a security force.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that means that basically the Justice Force or whatever made themselves up to be in this place, which we do have the asshole character, like we said earlier, Justin, that just basically is like, there has to be order in the world, da da
Like
da da.
like
And
he's like
has,
the judge, jury, and executioner,
yeah,
basically.
because, and he's got that lion gauntlet thing, which as many times as he turned the damn thing on,
Yeah.
for him to have never used it, that really pissed me off.
No, I think he uses it like in the first part when they meet the beast at that time.
I don't know, I
Like
can't remember.
when the beast shows up, I think he uses it, but he doesn't hit him with it. And basically we get this whole scene to where uh Belle or Suzu ends up actually finding out who the beast actually is. And
Yeah,
I honestly was very surprised when we found out who the beast was. And I
yeah.
was like, wait, how did this come together? Like, because I feel like we were purposely thrown off, but I don't remember seeing these particular characters in the movie, at from this point. So I felt like the two characters came out of nowhere. Is it Kai or K? I think it's Kai.
The kid,
Is it Key? Kie, or it's K
um,
Kei.
yeah, that's Key or Kai.
Key or Kai. Come out of nowhere, and we find out that this other um boy is the beast, and he has this very real abusive relationship with his father.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
We don't really know why his father is abusive, but he is. And he kind it's almost like the beast is a representation of Key, like internally almost.
I'd agree with that because
And
his little brother is the angel.
yes,
You
which
know,
I didn't put two and two together till like towards the very end. I was like,
yeah.
okay,
And he's always had to be there for his brother. He's always had to defend him. He's probably taken more hits or whatever,
yeah,
because of that. And you know,
hmm yeah, no,
he wants his
totally,
brother to keep his innocence, and that's kind of where we get the weird together, both of them. So I'm going to use this reference. We have the dragon and the angel, but
hmm
together, both of them are kind of the beast,
yeah, okay,
because that's how it kind of happens. The angel loves the song of Belle and singing and everything,
hmm
and then we have the dragon, which is trying to take all his hurt and put it through fighting games or whatever, and
yeah,
then ends up kind of being befriended by Belle and learning more about
hmm
whatever.
yeah,
And then we have kind of the thing where they find him. All that happens, and then he says we get that really crazy scene where He's like, everybody keeps saying that they're going to help, but you know what? Nobody ever
Well,
does.
let's get to that part. Let's get to that part in a minute.
Okay.
So we have the big Belle comes out, and then we get this really big scene, emotional scene about how Suzu either should unveil herself and let people know who she actually is in the the virtual world or not. Like there's this big huge debate, and she ends up doing it. And she has this big
Oh,
emotional
that
like.
happens afterward.
Is it? No, no, it happens before,
No, it happens after
right?
because when the kid's going after her about nobody helps or whatever,
Uh-huh.
then we have what's
Okay,
the
yeah, you're right. You're right.
what's the other
Never mind.
guy's name? Uh Shinobu actually says the only way you're going to be able to connect with this kid is if you reveal yourself.
That's right. That's right. And she does reveal herself in a big emotional way, and people are like, "Oh, she's just a girl. She's just a normal person. She's not this grand, over the top, spectacular thing that we've been seeing."
Which I was a little upset we didn't get to see who the other singer girl was.
Yeah, I because they were kind of like a rivalry between them a little bit. It seemed like, but it might have been like a one-sided rivalry.
It was because she
You
was
know?
mad. She was like, "How did she upstage me in singing?"
Yeah, but then like she kind of comes around and becomes like, yeah, like, I love this girl,
Yeah,
type of thing. Um, and then we get the aspect of where they do K or Key and Suzu do reconnect over the internet, and this is where we get the scene where his father comes in and like all hell breaks loose, and they go to actually find where he is because he's on the other side of Japan, I believe.
yeah.
Like she's in like a remote place and he's in like Tokyo, and she just takes off to go find
Which
him with the
can
help
I
of her friends.
can I say I love that scene where they're
What?
like, where you have Ruka who's sitting there and she says, "Oh, I heard this and I heard this." I still didn't even hear it, and I was
I
standing like
didn't.
right
I
in
didn't
front of
hear it
the TV.
either.
And
I
she's
didn't
like,
hear
"Oh
it either.
yeah, I heard this song playing in this song, so they have to be like in this general area." And then
Yeah.
the other guy goes, "Oh, well, it's got to be about this area because of da 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 GPS mapping."
Yeah, like the
And
triangulate because of the
yeah,
buildings in the back window.
and then and then Shinjiro is like, "Oh, well, it's got to be this area. How do you know that?" And he had taken a picture
Yeah,
on the other side from those buildings, and he was like, "There's those buildings." I was
I
just
know.
like,
I know them.
"What the hell did
But
we
yeah,
just go
she
through?"
she takes off to go help these two boys, and which you talked about how you were talking about how Key talked about how nobody would help him and stuff.
Yeah,
Which I feel like a lot of people who are in those like abusive relationships do feel like that in a way. Like nobody will help. People say they're going to help, but they're not going to actually help.
right.
And Suzu takes the steps to actually go help and takes a train overnight. And then we get to basically the big climactic.
Well,
Uh,
and I want to point out one spot right here
uh
too. So when she's on the train, she's messaging her dad,
yeah,
and I felt like that was a little bit out of place because it was kind of like all this stuff, and she was. I wouldn't really say nasty to him, but it was just kind of like she didn't want to deal with anything, so she kind
yeah.
of pushed him away. And whenever that whole thing happened, she's like, "Oh, I have to go do this or whatever," and I'm like, I'm a little confused that they're kind of having this fight, kind of or
I didn't
disagreement.
think it was a fight. Because she pretty much said, "Dad, I went off. I gotta go do this thing." And and it's go help a friend or whatever, and he was kind of like, I understand, basically.
Yeah,
you know like
yeah.
that's what I felt like it was like.
I just thought that whole part was kind of weird.
I guess, but I mean, in the end they do actually reconnect and they start talking to each other.
Yeah,
And I guess that spark comes back in their life, I guess you could say.
yeah,
um between a parent and a child. But we do get this big climactic event where basically everything blows up. The dad ends up going viral for like being abusive to his children, and Suzu goes to someplace in Tokyo, I believe it was, and she sees Key and his little brother, and like he's very surprised that she's actually there. Like they're standing out in the rain, and she just like embraces him like with a hug. Like they just hug each other, and it's a very powerful scene to where the dad shows up and he starts like, be like, "Oh, you're not gonna fucking take my kid away. This is my kid. I do what basically do what I want. And he's like,
Yeah,
"Get back inside. And she's just like hugging them and like protecting them, like being the protection that they personally need
right.
in this aspect. And then in this situation,
Well,
and
and then she stands up and confronts him.
yeah, she basically
After he
confronts
had already hit her. He hit her once.
he hit her, and then he like scratches her across the face when
Yeah,
trying to get her. It's a pretty
which
like
which this is another part right here that I really like because then we have that flashback to what her mom did.
yeah, her mom
And
risked her life to save somebody.
it was like she understood at that point
Yeah.
how it was because she's kind of regretted this whole thing with her mom for
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Like why'd you have to go? Why did your life have to be taken?
Right, for
You know?
some kid you didn't know, and now
Yeah.
she's put in the same experience, and it's like
Mhm.
I get it, I get
Yeah.
why there has to be like heroes in the world and
Hmm.
things like that, and some people are just natural at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's true, and the dad basically ends up backing off. I don't remember if we know what happens to them after that. Do you remember what
No,
happens to the kids?
no, I just know like that's when all the people come out about the beast stuff, and
Yeah.
um, I mean I think it's mentioned that they get help, but that's about it.
Okay, because I don't remember exactly what happens. Like the dad like backs off and goes away, because he kind of sees what he's done, and like I guess the wrong that he's done to these poor boys, for abusing them, hitting them. We don't know why.
I think, well, just with her, I think he knew like he could only take it so far. Like his
Yeah,
kids, he could, because I mean, even at that one point when they want to do a wellness check, they're like, we can't do anything about it. That's their dad.
yeah, like
But when
yeah,
it came down to her, if he was to lay a hand on her, which he already did,
yeah,
then more things could come out about it. More things could have been bad about it because then you're not only messing and hurting your ward because he could probably hide behind, oh, well, I'm just trying to teach them right from wrong and da da da. To you've hit somebody else now
yeah,
this is an abusive offense and everything.
yeah, yeah. True, true,
So,
true. But yeah, she ends up reconnecting with her friends, and reconnecting with her dad at the end, and it's very much like
and singing on the outside.
yeah, singing on the outside type of thing, instead of
Yeah.
keeping it all in.
Yep. And
You know.
then now everybody knows, but now she's comfortable with it. And they have that one little last concert thing of her singing as Belle.
I must have missed that part.
Yeah,
Did they?
it's where she's sitting there singing, and then the well comes out of nowhere. And
Oh, yes.
it
Yeah,
looks
okay.
exactly like the first one all over again, like the first
Yeah.
concert.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Now I remember, yeah. Yeah. So, let me ask you, because I have thoughts. What did you think about this movie?
I mean, it was enjoyable. I have to say that compared to Bubble, it was a lot better.
I would not compare the two at all. I think these are completely different movies.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just based off of that little thing of Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid,
Yeah.
it was tons better. I mean, if they were both of these movies were put side by side to say
Hmm.
which one did it better based off of their history and everything else, and
Hmm.
off of the reference material, which one was better? I would have to say Belle.
I I have to say, I was very surprised that was a musical. because
Yeah.
we don't. Well, for a majority of it is a musical, but like or big chunks, which we don't normally get in anime. Like which was a somewhat interesting refresher. Like watching anime and be like having these big like musical numbers and stuff, and
Oh yeah, if it's
uh,
a music based one.
yeah, like I don't think we ever really get those. Um,
We do, but they're not very common. They're usually more of a niche thing, like
Beck
Forest of Piano.
or Beck Mongolian Chop Squad.
Yeah, there's another piano one, but it focuses on like the music,
Yeah,
Mozart,
yeah,
different things like that.
yeah. You know,
Um,
that's it. That's one aspect I thought was interesting. I thought whenever it wasn't in the virtual world, the animation was really, really good. Like it was your typical Mamoru Hosoda, like good animation.
yeah,
I I commend them for trying something new with the virtual world and doing more like 3D CG anime. There were parts of it that were really well done, especially with Belle herself, like animated wise,
yeah,
that were really well animated. But there's some part where I was like, okay, guys, like, come on, like, like to me, I could see like the little flaws in it,
yeah.
like animation wise. I enjoyed the dub. I thought the dub was good. One aspect I did really, really enjoy was the fact about how they did really show the real effects of grieving like a loved one and how it can affect you, and honestly like the real world effects of child abuse,
That's true.
like and how it does affect how it does and it can affect people.
Yeah.
I
Well,
thought it was
and let me
done
ask
pretty
you a
well.
part on that. Do you feel like this movie should have had a disclaimer on it
No,
for that?
no, no,
Okay.
no, no, not really. Not at all. I mean, I don't feel like it pulled any punches with that. And it was pretty real. It wasn't like the whole anime, oh, person gets hit or slapped or whatever, and they got like a bruise on their cheek. No, like it was. I don't think you need a disclaimer
Yeah.
because honestly, disclaimers are for pussies.
I
You know
don't
what I
know.
mean?
There's another show I've been watching, and they have a disclaimer at the beginning and end of every episode, and I'm like,
Well, like I don't think somebody should be offended because they're tackling such a difficult subject that happens
yeah,
in our own worlds.
yeah,
Because I don't think that's something that we should necessarily shy away from.
yeah,
Because like I watched this with my daughter who is 9, and she was like, "Oh, like that's wrong," like
yeah,
that's wrong for the dad to be hitting the child like that. She's like, "That's straight up child abuse." She's like,
right,
she felt for that child who was being abused, and felt bad for him. Like even when there was the part where she gets like the cut on her face,
yeah,
like she was like, she was very much like tensing up, and like she was very she it made her uncomfortable, but like she actually did enjoy the movie. Like I
yeah,
I I get why you could have a parental, not parental control, but like a disclaimer, because even like Stranger Things, the last season of Stranger Things had like a disclaimer at the beginning because it was very much close around the whole Texas shooting that happened a couple months ago.
yeah.
Where like in the thing in the show, they like a bunch of children died. Basically, they're like massacred
So,
in the show.
so do you think we should have more musical esque anime and shows?
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Okay,
I don't think it's a bad idea because I think it's a very fun thing you could have. But I don't think it needs to be like overboard. You
yeah,
know how like sometimes anime likes to do
yeah,
when you get like that niche or that thing that pops off and becomes popular. What do we get? A lot of the same thing,
oh
you
my god,
know.
so true.
you know, but
Surprise!
but like, I I commend the movie for tackling such heavy subjects.
Yeah.
Is it my
Uh,
favorite Mamoru Hosoda movie? No. But I did enjoy most of the movie. Um,
yeah. So you're gonna watch. You're gonna get done and watch Centaur's World after this.
no, probably not.
You dick. I
No.
think there should be more musicals. Fuck that.
Well, the one knock that I do have with this
Yeah.
is honestly the length of the movie. I was like, oh, like come on, like I feel like maybe it, it could have been cut down a little bit more to better pace out the movie,
Yeah.
because there were points where I was like, okay, come on, let's keep this going, keep this momentum going. And there are honestly points where I dozed off because I got kind of bored at some points.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, like the whole thing with the artist, like, they could have cut that out.
yeah, yeah,
The artist guy.
because he was a big part of the movie at the very beginning, but he was there to throw you off the scent of
Yeah.
the boy. I don't think we ever saw.
Well, and maybe if we saw like the boys like earlier on, but
Maybe
they
we
were.
did. I don't. If we did, I don't remember.
We never saw the boys.
Okay.
Yeah, we never saw them until like the very end. So,
Yeah.
I just don't think like part of that, or the lady, the jealous lady or whatever, or we could have kind of done without part of that. Like it would have been cool to have the little speculation, like, oh, maybe it was
Yeah.
this person, or
But
maybe or
one
not
thing
go into it.
one thing I also did enjoy about it is honestly like seeing like the effect of internet culture or social media
Yeah,
on a person, like how it did affect Suzu. I thought was interesting because, to be honest, we could all relate to Suzu, I feel like, at some point
yeah.
or some aspect, especially if you're on social media creating content, and how people view or
Oh,
think
this
about you.
this sounds like you might have went through something related to this before.
I'm just saying.
You'd be
I'm
like, you
just.
dick.
Thanks a lot, you fucker. Uh,
You're
I'm
welcome.
just saying, like in general,
Yeah,
like when we put content out like how Suzu did, people are gonna judge and ridicule you regardless if they
true,
like you or not. And I feel like it was an accurate depiction of like people on the internet
true.
as well. I mean, But what did you think about the movie?
Mm, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I
Yeah.
said, um, I do agree. I feel like some of the fat could have gotten trimmed off of it because there were some parts I was kind of like, you
Yeah.
know, like there's only so many times we can see Zuzu and her dad's reaction to each other.
Yeah.
You know, uh, like I know they try to play him off as being like a caring father, but the fact is, like, I don't really think that was necessary.
Well, you also have to think about it though, like fathers are a lot are portrayed a lot differently in Japanese media than like American media
Yeah,
almost. Like, we always have like the non involved parent
yeah,
in Japanese media,
yeah,
or they're always working all the time. So
yeah.
yeah.
But I do think that maybe here and there they could have shaved down maybe 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I mean, just with different stuff of taking it out, I don't
I
feel
have
like it's necessary.
I have to say though, this is his third movie dealing with an online universe.
Yeah.
He really likes this format, I think.
I'm waiting for him to have like one of the other like SAO kind of like an actual TV series instead of a movie,
No, I think he is movie all the way. I don't think you see him
or
working on a TV show.
or if he does a movie like a medieval fantasy one.
I don't think he's worked on a TV show since the Digimon show.
Yeah,
Like
but
he did like one or two episodes of Digimon, and he did like the OVA, which ended up getting turned into the show. I'm actually looking him up right now.
yeah.
So he worked on some other things. Like he worked on a One Piece thing.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, he worked on a lot of movies. Not really. He worked on some television as well. He worked on a little bit of One Piece. It looks like. Oh, he
Yeah,
did episode 199 of One Piece,
cool.
and he did like some other stuff. Like he did a little bit of Samurai Champloo. Oh, he worked on Dragon Ball a little bit and some other stuff. But
You're like, I'm
yeah,
finding out so much stuff I didn't know.
well, he did like an episode here, an episode there.
Yeah,
Like he did like episode 173 of Dragon Ball Z.
yeah,
And then it's like Dragon Ball Z Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan. He was a key animator on that, and
yeah.
uh Slam Dunk, he did episode 29 and episode 70. Like but yeah, I mean what'd you think about this?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cause you even before I watched it, you're like, I already fucking bought the soundtrack.
I did. I really liked the music in this.
Yeah. And I was
Which
like, oh, okay.
the voice of Belle
Uh-huh.
or Suzu, I guess.
Mhm.
It's kind of cool that because I did research on it a little bit, that it was actually her first time she went in
Oh,
trying to
really?
do the voice actor thing, and this is actually like her first like debut thing, and
No,
she
that's
beat out a lot of
cool.
people.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me double check and see because I had the name saved because I knew we would bring it up.
Yeah.
Her name is Kylie McNeil,
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
and this was her like first project that she
Oh.
did, and she took the #1 spot for being Belle and
Well, that's
everything
cool.
because she's able to voice act and sing.
Hopefully, more of the good things come from her. 'Cause she was good. I thought she was pretty good in the movie.
Yeah. So
So, what would you give this movie?
out of
5.
5, I'd say a 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
I would probably give it.
Yeah, probably a 4.5.
I would probably give it a 3.5, 4.
Okay.
I enjoyed aspects of it, but it was not my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just not my favorite movie, to be honest. I would rather watch, like, Summer Wars, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
to be honest. Like, yeah. But I commend him for making this movie, and, it made a buttload of money, so, obviously it did good,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Okay,
Well,
that's all we got to say, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the
yeah.
podcast. If you would like to reach out to us, we are on Twitter and Instagram on Otakuology. If you want to suggest us to cover something, please suggest it to us, and we'll get back to you on it. If you have any questions or concerns, you can DM us on Otakuology or otakuologypodcast.com or gmail.com is our email address. And don't forget to rate us 5 stars and give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. And
Right.
we'll be glad to get back with you. Tell your friends if you enjoyed this podcast, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Yeah. As always. See, well, before I say that real quick, I had somebody at work when they were leaving say, see you next Tuesday. And I instantly went, no, 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 no. we will see you next Tuesday. So it
All
threw me
right.
off. I was like, what?
That's
But
a
yeah,
good,
guys,
I guess it's a good spot to end this podcast on.
we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Definitely will.